Now, from small starts to becoming a formidable part of Nigeria's defense system, the Nigerian Air Force is a testament to resilience, strength, and unwavering dedication to safeguarding the country's territorial integrity. As the Air Force prepares to celebrate 60 years of existence, tagged leveraging strategic partnerships in the aerospace innovations for regional security. It is fundamental to assess the achievements of the Air Force so far, as well as the current state of security in the country. Before we bring in our guest, Asuko, let me have your thoughts first off on security in the country. What do you make of this, and what are your expectations?
Well, we are still fighting insurgency, and as well as banditry. Kidnapping has reduced, just like unlike in the past, and thanks to the military, they've been doing well, and I hope the collaboration will continue, because we won't say the crime will just go off like that.
Right.
It won't, but at least if you keep having them, work together, it will reduce in some parts, especially in some parts of the north, southeast, and maybe even in the northwest, where we are having these banditries. So if we, what we really need is the government to give more firepower, right, to our people. That is where,
firepower in this case, you mean?
Those on that is our soldiers, okay. So because we need it. Because sometimes you hear some people say that when they want to encounter these guys, they have more superior firepower, So I think that is where government has to work on. What is making our own different, or what are those guys using that we don't have? So we need to start to look for those things. Yes, we need to also bring in technology. Right. And I think we are going to ask the Air Vice Marshal in terms of technology, what they have on ground that can match up with what other countries have, and that we can deal with all these terrorists as well as the bandits.
Right. Your thoughts?
Yes. In all honesty, we must thank the military, the Air Force, the Army, and every one of them for all their efforts. It is because of them, or because of what they do, that we are able to sleep, that we are able to move around. But be that as it may, we cannot continue to give excuses. We also need those who have the political and the financial power, at the federal level and state level, to encourage them, to give them more weapons. Because in a situation, just as he has said, where we send them out to go and confront bandits and all that, you don't know the firepower that those ones have. So we must make sure that we equip our own to such a point that at any point in time, they feel satisfied that, look, we are going to take this off. And when anything happens to them, their family must be taken care of. And that is, in fact, that is one of the most important. Because if I know that if anything happens to me, my family will not suffer, people will give their all. And that is what is happening in other countries. Military people give their all because they know that if anything happens to them on the war in active service, in fact, some of them they devote their lives so much so that because they know that it is when they die in active service that their family will be better. So we should encourage our own to that point so that everybody will know that, no, if this man dies or this woman dies in active service, the family will not suffer.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's quickly bring in our guest. Now joining us for an exclusive interview on the celebration of 60 years of existence of the Nigerian Air Force is the Director of Public Relations and Information, Air Vice Marshal Edward Gabkwet. Thank you so much for your time with us on Journalist Hangout. So yes, Nigerian Air Force will be 60. So tell us now the significance of this milestone and what it means for the country and, of course, the people.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. The 60th anniversary of Nigerian Air Force is a major milestone for those of us in the Air Force and indeed for all Nigerians, especially when you look at the history of the Nigerian Air Force and how it came about. Indeed, precisely about 60 years and a month now, the Air Force was established precisely on the 18th of April 1964. Indeed, it was purely through an act of parliament that got the Air Force started as an appendage of the Nigerian Army. And since then, we've seen the Nigerian Air Force take part in the Nigerian Civil War. And after that period, went through a series of metamorphoses. And indeed, along the line, few challenges here and there with regards to structuring and weapon acquisition and all of that. And to the period of democratic rule, return of democratic rule in the 1990s. And of course, in recent times where we've seen the federal government invest heavily in terms of weaponry, in terms of manpower development, in terms of training, to ensure that we, alongside other security agencies, work to continually push back those criminal elements that are hell-bent on dividing our nation. So it's a period of joy, it's a period of happiness for the country. It's also a period of reflection to look at our past and, of course, to see where we're heading to as a nation and as a service. Indeed, like I said earlier on, Nigerians have every reason to be very proud of the Nigerian Air Force because it has continued to be there in terms of ensuring that the security of the nation is very, very secure. So we are very, very happy about this period, and that is why the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, has decided that for this 60th anniversary, we won't just let it go by like the others. We are going to roll out the drums, of course, bring in people of like minds, aviation enthusiasts, those that are into military aviation, to come down to Abuja to gather and put heads together and see how we can continually chart the way forward with regards to regional security, but specifically to how we can enhance security in Nigeria. So that's what the period is all about, and I think it's a proud period for all Nigerians.
And in talking about maintaining regional and internal security, give us a heads up on how far the Nigerian Air Force has gone in terms of achieving that, because you know that the country still faces a little bit of insecurity challenges. Give us an insight on how far the Nigerian Air Force has gone in that regard. Yeah, regional-wise, we've continued to work with other countries around the region. I'm sure you're aware of the Multinational Joint Task Force, for instance. It's a combination of countries that majorly share borders with Nigeria. And we're aware that some of these criminals, the terrorists, are very fond of crisscrossing in between borders. So the need for that kind of joint effort came to being. And to be honest, it has been a major enabler in ensuring that we checkmate the way these criminals continue to crisscross these borders and continually kill people, innocent people, upon us. So that in itself is working. We are also working with other foreign countries in acquiring knowledge, in the acquisition of platforms and weapons. We don't draw a line to that. Of course, you're aware that we just took in 2 helicopters about 2 or 3 months ago that came in from Turkey. We're expecting 12 helicopters from the US. They should be coming into the country perhaps towards the end of this year. We're also expecting about 24 M346 helicopters from Italy. So we're reaching out to various nations to see how we can beef up our inventory so as to be able to meet up with the challenges that we have. In the country, in Nigeria here, we have continued to work with other security agencies, the Nigerian Army and everybody that is part of the security architecture. About 3 weeks ago, the Chief of Air Staff met with the DG, State Security, where they looked at how both of them can continually work
to ensure that we don't allow these people to continually have this freedom of movement. So we are working with everybody around the clock. He was in Bauchi yesterday. He met the governor of Bauchi. Last week he was in Kano. So he's going around the country to see how we can work together with the state governments and other security agencies to ensure that we all put our heads together, because the honest truth is this: the solution to the problems we're having in this country is not or cannot be resolved by kinetic means alone. We must accept that. So he has continually stated that the need for a whole of government, the whole of society approach in fighting some of these causes that we have, some of these criminalities that we continually have, is very, very important. Everybody must play his part, be it the state government, be it other agencies of government, be it other security agencies. Everybody must come together to ensure that we find a way to end this problem that we're having. And I believe the end is near. We just have to continually appeal to Nigerians to be very, very patient, to be very, very, very supportive of the armed forces and other agencies of government, so that we can put us together to see how we can end this problem that we have.
Yeah, still talking about the issue of insecurity, because we understand about 3 weeks ago, the Nigerian Air Force also reported that it neutralized about 3 terrorist leaders and 30 others in Borno State. Talk to us on how this has affected the safety in the northeast, particularly in Borno State. Do we say that that place is safe now for residents in that locality?
I think even the governor of Borno State has continually stated that to a large extent, what we are seeing in Borno State are just pockets of remnants of terrorists who believe that attacking soft targets may give them the relevance they need. Of course, you are aware that he has also made efforts to return some of the internally displaced persons to their homes. These are signs that security is gradually returning back to Borno, and that is the truth. To a large extent, Borno, the security situation in Borno is coming to an end. What we are seeing is terrorists now looking for safe haven, especially those in the northeast, and you see them moving to the northwest, and even becoming kidnappers. That's the honest truth, because they know that the northeast has become very, very hot for them. So you see them migrating to other parts of the country, kidnapping people and taking up ransoms and all of that. So to a large extent, the collaborative efforts in the multinational joint task force is there. Of course, the Operation Hadinke is also there. It's working, And I believe to a large extent we have done very, very well there. And we are doing the same thing in the northwest, where kidnappers, especially from Zamfara, Katsina, Kaduna, and Niger State, they continually cross the borders of these four states. Cause mayhem here, run to the border of the next state, cross, kill people here, and then of course, ransack their properties and all of that. But we are on their tails. Last week we attacked terrorists in a place called Alawa in Niger State. These were the same terrorists that attacked one of our army units somewhere in Niger State, and it was a successful strike. So we are continually working to make sure that we strike them. 2 weeks ago, we hit them at Mandara Hills. About 3 weeks, the same 3 weeks ago, we were able to find them somewhere around Shiroro. So we're all over the country. We're not just working up here in the north. In the southeast and south, we're also going after economic saboteurs and, of course, secessionist movements in the southeast to make sure that even as you continue to pursue your legitimate or illegitimate aspirations, you must not turn innocent citizens into your targets. We're not going to allow that,
Right,
and that is where we are at the moment.
We need to go on a very quick break. We'll have more discussions on this very issue. Do stay with us. Journalist Hangout continues after this.
New beginnings are always colorful, When we celebrate the start of life's journey, we marry in colors. With our proudly Nigerian Dulux paints, now available in any color. Express your world however you want it. Visit a Dulux Color Center to get any color instantly.
Dulux, let's color. At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking it.
Welcome back. You're still on to Journalists Hangout, and we still have with us from our Abuja studio the Air Vice Marshal of the Nigerian Air Force's Director of Public Relations, Air Vice Marshal Edward Gabkwet, and he's been bringing his perspective as the Nigerian Air Force turns 60, as well as other matters regarding security in the country. So let me quickly bring you up on this issue now. We understand there have been cases of accidental airstrikes. Now, we know the one that happened recent by the Nigerian Air Force in the northern region. Now, talk to us on the strategic approach now that the Nigerian Air Force is adopting to prevent a reoccurrence and perhaps during its, prevent its reoccurrence and reduce any collateral damage, as it were, during its counter-terrorism operations.
Okay, thank you so much. Unfortunately, collateral damages are sometimes difficult to avoid when you are fighting insurgency, like the one we are having in this country. The best you can do is to, as much as possible, minimize it to the barest minimum. And that is what we're seeing with our current Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Bala Abubakar. You recall that he became the Chief of Air Staff sometime in June last year, and incidentally, when he came on board, there was this case of accidental strikes in Nasarawa State, in a village called Rukubi. Because of the several outcries on this particular strikes, he felt it was important to review the footage of that particular strike and see where things might have gone wrong. And of course, the committee was set up. It looked at the battle damage assessment footages and went on ground to really ask questions. And indeed, it was found out that mistakes might have been made. And what did he do? Immediately, he went to Nasarawa State, interfaced with the governor and the emir of Lafia, and then met with the families of the victims and some of the victims, and apologized to them and took responsibility. Indeed, till this moment, we are still working with the National State government to look at ways in which the Nigerian Air Force will ameliorate the sufferings that some of these victims are going through. And I think that is the way to go. And I don't think we have seen that in a long while, where a service chief owned up to mistakes being made, not under his his regime, you know. And I think he should be commended for that. Because ordinarily, it could have been very easy for him to say, well, it didn't happen under my watch, so I'm not responsible for it. But he owned up. And I think, in fact, even some of the victims were very, very shocked. The emir of Lafia told him that he has never seen something like that. And the process is ongoing to make sure that we ameliorate some of the problems that these people are having. Now, moving forward, what has he done with regards to these issues? Our pilots, especially, are interfacing with other foreign air forces, specifically the U.S. Air Force, in how to gain more knowledge with regards to what we call air-ground integration. That's the ability for you flying to relate with those on ground to make sure that whatever you are going to fire at is exactly what you are after. Of course, the new platforms we have also use what we call precision-guided weapons. Weapons that will directly go to the target that they are looking for without necessarily harming those around that particular target. So, and that is why, to a large extent, you don't hear about collateral damages in our strikes, especially in the last 1 year. So, a lot of things are being done. We have a safety school now somewhere in I think, Oshogbo or so, and this these schools, this particular school is where all our operational personnel must go to before they are deployed out there in the field. So these are some of the measures being taken to make sure that we upgrade the knowledge of our personnel so as to minimize some of these collateral damages. But definitely there is no country that will, or there is no armed forces in anywhere in the world that will deliberately go and begin to kill its citizens. So some of these things are unfortunate, but I think we are moving forward on that.
Right. Well, my colleague here, Atuko, has a question for you. Atuko.
Yeah. Okay, Air Vice Marshal, I wanted to, you said something about air and ground operations, and I was wondering, well, the relationship between, you know, the Air Force and the soldiers on the ground. I don't know what the relationship is, so that we can avert, you know, some, especially when you guys do the work from the air, you know, they should be able to do. I don't know, they do the mop-up. What is the relationship between those at the top, that is the air, and those on the ground? And then I also wanted to ask, your operations in the Northwest, how has it been? How has it gone so far? Because we seem to be having this issue about banditry in the Northwest. And does it give you people a lot of concern, as in the banditry in the Northwest? Does it give you people concern when you are in your offices?
Okay, let me clear this. We get to hear some of these allegations that the military are not working together and all of that. I beg to disagree. Okay. I think our relationship, you know, right from our days in the NDA remains the same. We are operating as a single entity. And I remember one of my colleagues would always say that there is no trophy for any single service at the end of all of this. So we all know that we are out there to make sure that Nigerians feel safe. So we don't have any problem working together. We don't see any difference amongst us. Our service chiefs, you see them, you know that the spirit is very, very high. Their morale is very, very high. Working together and making sure that we combine all our efforts to bring to bear against these enemies that want to divide us. It's working very, very well. The CDS leads, the service chiefs follow, and of course the rest of us are behind them to make sure that they succeed. So there is no ambiguity about that. Everything is very, very, very okay. Now to the Northwest. The Northwest remains an area of flashpoint, but like I've told you, we are having terrorists that continually move from one border of these states to another. We are making very, very good giant strides in following their movements. And from time to time, we have been very, very successful in checkmating them. Of course, the issues of kidnappings and all of that remains a major problem. But I can tell you that they are fully aware that we're watching them, and will continue not to give them that breathing space that they think they can continue to have. So efforts are being made. It's going to take a while before sometimes you see the results. But I can tell you that people are dedicated out there to make sure that our country remains very, very safe.
Right, and that's a fine place to leave it. Director of Public Relations and Information, Vice Marshal Edward Gabkwet, thank you so much for your time with us on Journalist Hangout. We appreciate your insights on the program this evening.
Thank you.